Picture this. It's the 1960s in Turkey. A homeowner is doing routine renovations in his basement. He swings a hammer, knocks down a simple plaster wall, and suddenly finds himself staring into an impossibly dark, seemingly endless void. He hadn't found a standard crawl space. He had accidentally opened a door to a massive subterranean labyrinth that had been sealed off for centuries. When we think about ancient history, we usually look up. We imagine towering castles, giant stone pyramids, and monuments reaching into the sky. But it turns out some of humanity's most incredible achievements are buried entirely out of sight. Finding a functional city beneath a modern house reveals a side of ancient engineering rarely seen. It leaves us with a difficult question. Why did thousands of people decide to move their entire lives into the solid rock and build upside-down skyscrapers? This diagram shows the true scale of what that man found, the underground city of Derinkuyu. It descends roughly 280 feet straight down into solid volcanic rock, spreading out across 18 distinct floors. The city held 20,000 people in a structured society. They carved out designated spaces for livestock, rooms for grain storage, communal kitchens, and even small chapels for worship. To keep everyone breathing that far down, they carved massive vertical ventilation shafts. Using primitive hand tools, they cut long chimneys through the rock that funneled fresh air all the way to the absolute bottom floor. Whoever built Derinkuyu engineered it to sustain a thriving community underground for long periods. Which brings up an obvious question. What exactly was happening on the surface that made living in a dark cave seem like a better option? That brings us to our first reason for going underground: sheer survival. This photo shows the open landscape of the Cappadocia region in Turkey. For centuries, this area was a brutal historical war zone, sitting right in the path of massive invading armies from the Persian and Mongol empires. When tens of thousands of hostile soldiers are marching across those open plains, trying to fight back is useless. The most effective defense was simply to vanish. By retreating into the earth, the locals removed themselves entirely from the battlefield. Once inside, they locked the door using heavy circular rolling stones, some weighing over half a ton. They carved a hole straight through the center. From the inner tunnels, defenders rolled the massive rock into place, then used that opening to thrust spears at attackers. For the people of Derinkuyu, these tunnels offered complete safety. They had built a highly advanced panic room, heavily fortified and stocked with supplies, so they could comfortably wait out whatever chaos was happening above. But not every underground space was built out of fear. Our second reason takes us to the Americas, where digging into the earth was about magic and perception. This is the ancient city of Teotihuacan in Mexico, famous for its massive pyramids and very public, open-air ceremonies. Everything we knew about their rituals happened up top. Then, in 2003, heavy rains opened up a sinkhole right next to the Temple of the Feathered Serpent. Archaeologists climbed in and realized it was the entrance to a hidden corridor. This is a view inside that excavation. They uncovered a meticulously planned tunnel stretching 330 feet, descending straight down into the bedrock and ending directly beneath the exact center of the giant pyramid. What they found at the end of that dark passage was highly toxic and completely bizarre. The ancient builders had created sealed chambers filled with pools of liquid mercury. It looked like a glowing silver river, designed to perfectly reflect the walls and ceilings, which were coated in crushed metallic minerals to sparkle like the night sky. A moment of wonder. No one was hiding down here. Think of it like an ancient virtual reality headset. They engineered a miniature model of the cosmos, a sensory simulator where high priests could physically step into the underworld and commune with their gods. We see similar engineering thousands of miles away in Peru, at a site called Chavin de Huantar. There, builders designed underground mazes specifically shaped to bounce echoes around tight corners, creating an environment that would completely disorient the human brain. For these pre-Columbian cultures, the Earth wasn't a bunker. It was an architectural machine, carefully calibrated to alter how a person experienced reality and simulate a connection with the divine. Our final reason for digging deep is simply a mystery. In 1992, in China's Zhejiang province, local farmers decided to pump the water out of a supposedly natural pond. As the water level dropped, straight geometric lines appeared along the walls, revealing the entrance to a massive, hand-carved cavern. They had stumbled onto what we now call the Long U Caves. Eventually, over 24 distinct, sprawling underground rooms were uncovered. Some of these chambers feature massive central pillars and are large enough to easily park an airplane inside. Digging out a complex of this size requires a staggering amount of labor. Experts estimate that whoever built it had to chip away and remove roughly 1 million cubic meters of solid rock. Here is the strange part. Chinese history is famous for its meticulous record-keeping. Yet there is zero written evidence of these caves. We don't know who built them, what happened to the mountain of excavated rock, or why they were dug in the first place. All we have are these uniform, parallel chisel marks covering the walls and pillars, proving every inch was done by hand. The Longyu caves act like a corrupted computer hard drive. The massive physical hardware is sitting right there in front of us, but the data, the memory of what it was actually used for, has been entirely deleted. This diagram illustrates the 3 distinct reasons ancient humans dug into the earth. Across the globe, our ancestors grabbed their tools and tunneled into the dark to survive apocalyptic wars on the surface, to build physical simulators of the cosmos, and to carve sprawling complexes that history simply forgot. Today, we measure our modern technological progress by how high our shimmering glass towers can reach up into the clouds. But it takes a completely different kind of determination and engineering skill to conquer the solid, unyielding rock beneath the ground. For centuries, people in places like Turkey lived in normal houses, oblivious to the fact that an ancient, sprawling city was sitting quietly right underneath their floorboards. So the next time you look down at the ground, remember that the surface is only half the story. The most fascinating mysteries of human history might just be waiting right beneath your shoes.